Hey all at YouTube, this is Silver Lightsaber, and this video is going to be talking about a big fan favorite to a lot of fanboys out there, Smallville. Now I gotta be honest, this show has been on for coming on 10 years now, and that's an accomplishment for shows, especially these days, but I wasn't really into the show for the longest time. I'd hear things about this show, how amazing it is, how it's reinventing the Superman mythos and all that, and I believed it. I know that the show has a large fan following and loyal fan following, but I wasn't sold on it for the longest time. It just wasn't interesting to me. It seemed like a mix between Dawson's Creek and Superman. It wasn't my Superman. But I got into it about mid last season, and since then I have been impressed every week, and it is one of my favorite shows, definitely in my top three, and I love this show. I'm sorry I didn't get into it sooner. In fact, part of me is sorry I didn't follow this show from the beginning. It's that good. I can understand why some people don't get into the show, though, because like I said, it was like Dawson's Creek meets Superman for a while, for a good few seasons, because it follows Superman's high school life and into his career as a daily reporter, Daily Planet reporter, which is what I mainly wanted to see from the get-go. But I love what they've done. I love that they're recreating the mythos and adding plenty of new elements and really humanizing Superman in a way that's never really been done before. And I think it's awesome and wonderful, and it's turning on all kinds of fans, or has turned on all kinds of fans. And I just love where the show is going. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It all started when a producer team, Alfred Goff and Miles Miller, I believe, went to the WB, back when it was called the WB, before the CW, and pitched the idea of doing a Batman show, a show that follows Bruce Wayne and his life up to becoming Batman. And the studio passed on it, and rightfully so. Also, keep in mind the time period. This was about 2000, around that time frame when superheroes weren't quite cool yet. This was before the movie boom that we're all enjoying now. This was while superheroes were still not very cool. So these producers really wanted to make a show that was cool, that was revolutionary, and still awesome, and paying tribute to the comics. So they didn't get what they wanted with Batman, so instead they used, the most popular one, Superman, instead. And it was greenlit, and they were off and running. And it turned out to be the WB's highest rated premiere they'd ever had. And I don't think their record's broken. I think the Smallville still holds that record for highest premiere show on that channel. But I'm not saying I wouldn't want a Batman show like along the lines of Smallville, especially with the writing that they've had in the last 2 years. I think that would be very interesting to see. Very creative, very great storytelling. Definitely bring a new type of Batman, and the fan fiction would be all over the place, just like it is with Smallville now. So, will it happen? Probably not. At least not in the near future. Maybe someday. I'd love to see it someday, but not in the near future. A big reason why this series has been so successful is because Superman as a film franchise hasn't really found its niche in the mainstream media. The Christopher Reeve film series has a cemented legacy in film, and it's regarded in mainstream, but it's not a continuing film series, and whenever they try to bring it back, example in Superman Returns, they don't quite find what they're looking for. They don't quite find the niche, how they can keep it going. And Smallville has just seemed to have found a way to keep it going and to keep it fresh, and somehow just keep the fans coming back for more, because Smallville taps into everything. Now, how it taps into everything is really interesting, in that the two big rules for the show were no tights and no flights. They didn't want to have Superman's costume. They didn't want to have him fly. And he's broken the flying rule a few times, but no costume. And no Superman. Superman does not exist in Smallville. Only Clark Kent. And that's turned off some fans, myself included. I heard that, and immediately I was turned off for the longest time. Give the show a chance. Do not turn away from it just because of that. Believe me, Superman is there. It's Clark Kent becoming Superman. It's the journey. And another big confusion that I had was that it's not continuity based to the films or to the comics or anything. It is in its own continuity. They introduce characters and they kill off important characters. And immediately, as soon as I heard some characters that were killed off or thrown off the show, immediately it's not continuity with anything else. It is its own canon, it's its own universe, its own reality. This is Smallville. It's completely different. Immediately, I got to talk about Tom Welling as Superman or Clark Kent. Now, I'm getting this off my chest right away. Christopher Reeve is and always will be my Superman. He is the ideal Superman. I don't think any Superman will ever beat that. Christopher Reeve is to Superman, to me, what Heath Ledger is to the Joker. It's that big. But Tom Welling is a very strong second. He finds things about the character that are fresh, that the audience can notice and immediately think to themselves, yeah, that's Superman like. He has those qualities very naturally on the show, and that's very appealing to the fans. Myself included. I love Tom Welling. He's great in the show. I wonder if he gets tired playing the role after a while, because some actors, they play Superman for such a long time and they get tired of it after a while. I don't know if he's going through that or not, but I hope he doesn't get tired anytime soon, because he's so great at it. And he's never actually been Superman yet. He's just been Clark Kent becoming Superman. So hopefully we'll get to see him in the red and blue someday, or soon. Another great thing I love about the show is Oliver Queen. Justin Hartley, the guy who plays Oliver Queen, I think is great. Now, the main reason why they brought in Oliver Queen is because the show producers wanted to bring in Batman, but they couldn't quite do it because Batman's such a standalone character that they didn't see him representing or supporting a Superman show. He should have his own show. So they brought in, quote-unquote, the poor man's Batman, Green Arrow, Oliver Queen. And I think that's an even better choice. He's so perfect as being on the show. Just like Bruce Wayne, Oliver Queen has those same personality traits of what is justice, where is the line, I'll do whatever I need to do to make sure the right thing is done. And he questions himself, he goes through that journey of, what am I doing, is it right, just like Batman does. So it is kind of like having Batman on the show, but it's Green Arrow, and it's turning on all these new people to Green Arrow. It's people who may not have known him before, and myself included. If it wasn't for Justin Hartley's interpretation of Green Arrow, I probably wouldn't have been turned on to the character, because I'd known about him, as a lot of DC guys probably know the name, but don't quite know who he is. He's not a A-list name. He's kind of like a B or C-list name. But he's rising in popularity in the last few years. I think Smallville's a big reason for that. So I love Oliver Queen. I think he's great to the show. And, the females on the show, Lois and Chloe, they're great. I hear that there's a lot of Chloe hate as far as the fans. They don't like the character Chloe. And I'm not exactly sure why. She has her moments where, yeah, she's not very likable, and she can be annoying. But I think Allison Mack adds to the show, kind of counteracts Tom Welling's Superman in a very healthy way. She's like the character that the audience is, in a way, seeing through her eyes, and as if we were working with Superman, this may be what we do, what we'd say. We'd be frustrated with him sometimes because he'd be so loyal to his own code of honor and justice and responsibility, and not necessarily get the job done in the most efficient or quickest manner possible. You'd want to rush him a little bit. You'd get frustrated. It's those human qualities that Chloe brings to the show and brings to counteract Superman, and I think that's good for the show, and it's important. And Erica Durance as Lois. Oh, damn. I saw her, and man, I can see why so many fans love her. I mean, she's Lois Lane, and I love her. She is definitely my Lois Lane. She's my ideal Lois, Margot Kidder, as far as acting and character-wise, she nailed Lois Lane. But looks-wise, I'm not so sure that was Lois as far as I would expect her to be. And Terry Hatcher came closer to it in Lois and Clark, which I love. But Erica Durance has it all. She has the spunk and fiery passion of Margot Kidder, and that sex appeal, fine look to her that Terry Hatcher had. In my opinion, even sexier than she was. But, that's up for debate. But anyway, Erica Durance, keep going. Do what you're doing, and a few swimsuit scenes wouldn't hurt either in the future. Just letting you know.